On this week's LA Diaries, Harry and Meghan's New Year's resolutions and Fergie Ferg's royal redemption. Plus, I talked to Will and Kate's classmate about the latest season of The Crown. These are my LA Diaries. Wow, 2023 was a wild ride for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Car chases, stress patches, and, well, South Park. Harry and Meghan ended the year with a glossy video that showed lots of hugs and dental hygiene. Here's a list of suggested New Year's resolutions for the Duke and Duchess of William Morris endeavor. Harry and Meghan not practicing what they preach. Say it ain't so. Resolution number 1, find more than, well, 2 donors for Archewell. In December, we learned that Archewell saw an $11 million drop in donations in 2022, thanks to their latest tax filing. Archewell's total expenses exceeded its revenue, leaving it in the red by nearly $700,000. Harry and Meghan's Me, Me, Me brand has certainly negatively affected public perception of Archewell, with most people totally clueless when it comes to the foundation's core values or mission statement. Not only did mainstream media cover the lonely 2 donors of 2022, Harry and Meghan also received criticism for paying their male executive over 50% more than their female executive, a shocking revelation after Meghan herself campaigned for the Time's Up movement, a Hollywood initiative meant to spotlight the gender pay gap. According to author Tom Bauer, at the time of Meghan's initial mention, it allegedly caused quite a stir within the now defunct Fab Four. And from net zero to not zero. Resolution number 2, avoid being branded eco-hypocrites again in the new year. Prince Harry has a lot to say about the environment. As the founder of Travelist, their mission statement reads, Travelist aims to make travel more sustainable by empowering travelers to make responsible choices and protecting destinations and communities long into the future. That being said, I lost count of how many private jets Harry and Meghan took in 2023, but here are some headline highlights. This one is from Yahoo. It reads, Meghan and Harry took a private jet to the Caribbean after attending a conference on climate change and mental health. Or how about the New York Post? Harry and Meghan branded eco-hypocrites after taking Oil Air's private jet to Katy Perry gig, with Harry previously admitting that we are all responsible for our own individual impact. It's hard to digest their lack of self-awareness here. Resolution number 3. Pretty trophies won't save you from Biggest Loser lists. Prioritize quality over publicity stunts. When you're called out as effing grifters or not a talent by industry heavyweights, do you still keep your pay-for-play trophies on the fireplace mantle, or do you hide them in the chicken coop, asking for a friend? It was, without a doubt, the biggest humiliation for brand Harry and Meghan in 2023. Spotify tried to politely drop the celebrity couple in June from their exclusive network deal with words like mutual and proud. According to the Wall Street Journal, behind the scenes, Spotify was frustrated with the time it took to conceptualize and complete projects. Plus, like the First Amendment, Prince Harry's creative ideas were bonkers. To clarify, the First Amendment is not bonkers, but these ideas are. According to Bloomberg, the Prince of Pot wanted to interview guests like Putin, Mark Zuckerberg, and Donald Trump on their childhood trauma to see how they became the people they are today. Harry also pitched co-hosting an unnamed show with comedian Hassan Minaj. Plus, Harry wanted to collab with the Pope, which seems totally doable. It wasn't long before the truth came out about the chaos behind the scenes at Archewell Audio, with Spotify executive Bill Simmons destroying the former royals on his podcast, saying, the effing grifters. That's the podcast we should have launched with them. I have got to get drunk one night and tell you the story of the Zoom I had with Harry to try to help him with a podcast idea. It's one of my best stories. F them, he said. Meanwhile, the CEO of UTA, a Hollywood talent agency, Jeremy Zimmer, called Meghan untalented during a podcast advertising festival, saying, turns out Meghan Markle was not a great audio talent or necessarily any kind of talent. He added, just because you're famous doesn't make you great at something. William Morris Endeavor, Meghan's current talent agency, told Wall Street Journal, the team behind Archewell remains proud of the podcast they created at Spotify. Meghan is continuing to develop more content for the Archetypes audience on another platform, yet Harry and Meghan specifically dropped the Archwell audio mention from this year's Christmas card. So was that even true? Then, completely unchallenged, and we know that Harry and Meghan are willing to challenge a story, the Daily Mail reported that the pair privately blamed bad luck for their failure. An anonymous source telling the Daily Mail that COVID, economic woes, the death of the Queen, and the decline in Prince Philip's health were behind their misfortune. The word is that they think they've been really unlucky, the source said. Now, despite Meghan gleefully accepting the Miss Foundation's Woman of Vision Award or her Gracie Trophy for archetypes, Harry and Meghan landed on The Hollywood Reporter's brutally honest Biggest Losers list of 2023. Describing the couple's brand as a sanctimonious bubble just begging to be popped, The Hollywood Reporter said what basically everyone else is thinking. Could you two stop whining? Hopefully, Harry and Meghan will put their energy into quality content in 2024 and take a break from the PR. All right, since we just made mention of the Miss Foundation Award, we might as well delve into the infamous car chase. Resolution number 4, stick to the script. If your bodyguard is famous for his Houdini-like escapes, why are you exiting in front of a throng of paparazzi? Oh, did someone want their picture taken without a Hertz Rent-A-Car logo splashed across their caboose? With technology like TikTok and Instagram at the palm of your hand, there were absolutely zero mentions of Harry and Meghan's near catastrophic car chase on social media the night of May 16th. It was Harry who drew attention to the alleged 2-hour-long car chase by releasing an angry statement through a spokesperson the next day. He said this relentless pursuit lasted over 2 hours, resulted in multiple near collisions involving other drivers on the road, pedestrians, and 2 NYPD officers. New York's mayor expressed doubt about Harry and Meghan's version of events at a press conference immediately. Meanwhile, the NYPD's Julian Phillips said the Duke and Duchess of Sussex arrived at their destination and there were no reported collisions, summonses, injuries, or arrests in regard. Translation, yo, things were fine. Harry's exaggerated version of events seemed to be a breaking point in the States when it came to public opinion of the couple. Suddenly, their likability took a nosedive. Resolution number 5. Talk about your penis less. Sure, Spare was a best-selling book that alienated you from a brother who has spent a significant amount of his life protecting you from the realities of your dysfunctional family, and you know I love her, but especially your mother. But while analytically Spare might be considered a home run to Harry's publisher, PR-wise, it sent Brand Sussex spiraling. Do you know how many times Prince Harry mentioned his hangdown? 15. It was someone's job to count that. He said the word penis 8 times, Todger 6. I had to Google the word Todger, and let me just say, I don't recommend doing that in a mall cafeteria. The most appalling mention involves a frostbitten Willie, Elizabeth Arden cream, and Harry sensing his deceased mother's presence in the room upon application. Whether or not that instance inspired Ghost Diana in The Crown, who knows? Either way, I know too much about the Ginger's junk. Additional details include Harry killing 25 Taliban and Prince William breaking his necklace. There are obviously other resolutions we can mention, like, hey, try not to defame your half-sibling to Oprah Winfrey, try to stay off South Park's radar, block Omid Scobie. But as PR expert Nick Eade told the Daily Mail, Harry and Meghan have a lot of work to do in 2024. He says the Duke and Duchess haven't proven their worth. They haven't won Oscars or Emmys or written screenplays. They've done nothing to warrant the fame they think they deserve. That's the biggest problem here, he said. So, Happy New Year to Harry and Meghan. You've certainly kept us busy here at TalkTV. Did I miss anything? Leave a comment below. Speaking of new beginnings, who else was blown away by the addition of Sarah, Duchess of York, at church with senior members of the royal family? Fergie of Foot and Mouth fame, which is obviously a double entendre. Palace Confidential's Richard Eden said that the king demonstrated his capacity for forgiveness by inviting Sarah, Duchess of York, to join her ex-husband, Prince Andrew, and senior members of the royal family to church in Sandringham. While it's been 30 years since Fergie was last seen spending the holidays with the royal family, Eden stresses that the king's embrace of the Duke and Duchess of York shows that there is a way back for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Pause for dramatic effect. See you when you're 70, Meghan. Just kidding, but not really. Are you happy to see Fergie back at the fold? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're curious as to what it was like to go to school with the Prince and Princess of Wales after watching The Crown Season 6, I spoke to one of their classmates on the latest episode of the To Die For Daily podcast. Here's a sneak peek.
I've always said that I would never do royal gossip. That wasn't really my thing. And, still I don't intend today to talk about any gossip, anything that I saw or heard in that stage. I can myth bust some things that I definitely didn't see that they portrayed in The Crown.
When we were talking over text message, I said to you, I have an issue with this one scene because you always said we were very protective of them. We respected their space, specifically Prince William. We finally get to school with William, and at every turn somebody's hounding him for an autograph, whether it's for their grandmother or whether it's for just a signed picture. Was that the reality of school with Prince William?
I never saw anything like that ever once. Um, and that was something that really stuck out to me. In particular, the thing that I think I laughed out loud at was the scene where he's leaving the movie theater and there's paparazzi outside. And that blew my mind because I actually went to movies multiple times when he was in the audience, saw him at the snack bar, whatever. There was never one person outside. And yes, I'm an old person. So keep in mind, this was before we had smartphones. We did have, old fashioned camera phones, and we all had our little, what were they, Canon Elf cameras, stuck in our purses or whatever. But people weren't, it was hard to take a sneaky photo. And paparazzi wise, I literally never saw one ever. It was insane to me to see that because it just didn't happen. I never saw anyone. I mean, I did hear a couple times about like, oh, someone, asked him for a photo and he would just politely say, he couldn't do that, but, it was nice to meet you or something. I always heard that he was very polite if people did approach him, but in general, people really just left him alone, to the extent that sometimes it was almost awkward. There were times where it almost felt like people were just leaving him alone. Like, he was, I don't know, he would be almost like off to the side, and it was sort of, um, I don't know, you just want to have
Did
like
you
a more normal college experience, but
did you sympathize with him because you felt like maybe it was so over the top that he could potentially be lonely?
it seemed like maybe, in the beginning, there were times where, I remember, being in line places and it would seem like people didn't even get in line behind him. Like they were trying to make sure that they didn't want to seem like they were following him. And
Mm.
it was like, well, just be normal,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
need I need to purchase a banana. I'm gonna get in line. Yeah.
just get in line, just get in
Yeah.
the line that's the shortest. And if ever, no one is getting in line behind him, that's the short line. And
Right.
I remember that one really standing out to me. People not getting in line behind him because they didn't want to seem like they were following him around.
Listen to the entire interview by searching To Die For Daily wherever you listen to podcasts. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you click the thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe.